Hi everyone, it's me, Ella, and welcome back to another video. Over this past weekend, I went on a surprise trip to London and saw not one, not two, not three, but 4 shows. My intention was to vlog each show individually. However, as this was a surprise trip, I knew absolutely nothing about what we were doing until the day of each show, if that makes any sense. So, what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to do a video covering each of the shows that I saw on my surprise trip. And at the end of each video, I will give you a little merch haul of what I got at each show. So this block of videos will come under a series called Surprise London Trip. And following this video, you will have to keep an eye out on my channel to find out what other shows I saw on my trip. I cannot wait to share them with you all. So, without further ado, let's open Surprise London Trip with show number 1, which was The Phantom of the Opera at His Majesty's Theatre. So I arrived into London on the Friday, and upon arrival we checked into the hotel, went into the room and unloaded the bags. We then went for a lovely meal in the hotel restaurant, and it wasn't until after said meal that the news of show number 1 was broken to me. The news was in fact that we were going to visit a certain phantom, and this wasn't actually broken to me until an hour before the show. So as you can imagine, we were in a little bit of a rush to get to His Majesty's. Right, so when we arrived at His Majesty's Theatre, we were unfortunately informed of some slight miscommunication regarding seating. I obviously was completely oblivious to this because as it was a surprise trip, I had absolutely no idea what we were doing until we had left the room that evening. On the confirmation that I received when the news was broken to me, it apparently said that we were supposed to be sitting in row E of the stalls, seats 22, 23 and 24. However, little did I know that they had made an error and accidentally put us on the wrong end of the row by mistake. All was sorted though, as we were able to go to the box office and change the seats for row K in the stalls, which I believe are the transfer access seats at His Majesty's Theatre. And even though it was considerably further back than where we should have been, it was a brilliant view and actually really helped, as the end of row seats for the 2 rows in front of me were actually empty. So despite the little mishap, I actually had an excellent view for the whole performance, which was brilliant. At the performance of Phantom of the Opera that I went to on the Friday, both Phantom and Christine were played by understudies. The Phantom himself was played by James Gant, and Christine was played by Colleen Rose Curran. Even though both roles were played by understudies, unless you've seen the show before, you genuinely wouldn't have known. Colleen's voice was absolutely beautiful, and I adored her performance as Christine. I really did. I think she did an amazing job. And then James Gant as the Phantom. My goodness me. I have no words to describe his performance other than he was phenomenal. Stunning performances given by the pair of them. They were amazing. And the whole cast at Phantom were absolutely incredible on the Friday. And funnily enough as well, when I arrived at His Majesty's Theatre and looked at the cast board before going in, I saw a familiar name that I recognised. That name is Martin Ball. Now, for those of you who don't know, I have seen Martin Ball a couple of times before. I have seen him in Wicked as Dr. Dillamond, and most recently, obviously before Phantom, I also saw him as Maurice in Disney's Beauty and the Beast at the London Palladium. I had absolutely no idea that he'd gone to Phantom, so it was a wonderful surprise to be able to see him again. The whole cast at Phantom were absolutely incredible, and I highly enjoyed the performance. It was an all-round fantastic evening. Oh, now, just before we move on to the Phantom merch haul, I would like to take a moment to talk about the special effects in Phantom. They are absolutely breathtaking, honestly, and don't just take my word for it, you have to see it to believe it. Those special effects are truly mind-blowing, and the whole cast at Phantom are absolutely incredible. This is a show that is certainly full of unexpected surprises, and I really enjoyed my first time seeing the show. So if you haven't got a ticket for Phantom or you haven't seen it yet, do yourself a favour and go and see it. Okay, so now it is time for the Phantom merch haul. And the first thing I got at the show was a programme. The next thing that caught my eye at Phantom was this beautiful souvenir rose. Now this is actually a very special rose because it is a rose that will never wilt and its petals are made out of velvet. The moment I saw this beautiful souvenir rose, I knew I wanted it as a momentum of my first trip to see Phantom. And as if that wasn't enough pre-show souvenir shopping, I only went and spotted this commemorative ticket pin badge. As you can see, it says the Phantom of the Opera on it, complete with the Phantom's signature mask. And I don't know if you lot are actually going to be able to see this bit, but right on the end of the ticket, it says Box 5, which is also known as the Phantom's seat, purely there for the Phantom's use and the Phantom's use only. I am sure that this is going to end up in quite the special place indeed. What a perfect way to look back and remember my first visit. And then the interval comes along and I couldn't resist buying even more merch. I went and bought this beautiful keyring depicting a very sparkly version of the Phantom's iconic mask. The keyring is also complete with a music note charm and a rose charm. And finally, the last piece of merch I treated myself to at Phantom of the Opera was the official Phantom teddy bear. Now, this last purchase did take a little bit of contemplating during the first half, but I eventually decided to buy him and I am so glad I did. And with that, the first instalment of Surprise London Trip comes to an end. Keep an eye out on my channel to find out which show I saw next as part of my trip. Bye!